thrown in jail really quick, but for some reason these people in a position of authority can get away with this even when their peers are asking them to resign.
We've got students of law here saying that, like, okay, he's a prominent figure in law enforcement and we're honored to have him here today to speak to the law students. Bunch of BS, because he does not represent good law.
You're busted, man. We all know about Operation Fast and the Furious and the repercussions of that. You're exposed, the light's on you, and this isn't going to go away.
People know about Operation Fast and Furious.
I saw a report where he was in D.C. giving a speech. The media asked him about it, and he said, "How dare you bring this up just a few days before he came to Austin?" All right, we're going to go to break and come back with the Wayne Madsen interview. But, I mean, the protesters are absolutely on target. This is a crook, and it's all over. So honored to have you. That's why we're in so much trouble, because these guys pretty much are untouchable, and they can get away with anything now, even when they get caught. What are they doing we don't know about? What's coming next? Tens of thousands of guns into Mexico? And I reported all this with Sully Castile, DEA agent, 6 years ago. We knew this was coming. But you can't get the American people involved. You can't get the Mexican people involved, because all the big media and all the big think tanks control all the groups and have everybody too busy fighting with each other than to ever realize we have a criminal ruling class over the entire globe. It's called globalism. It's called a new world order. And they know sociology, psychology, anthropology, and they manipulate us. And they're cold-blooded gangsters. It's INFOWARS Nightly News.
What's up with these sorry politicians? Lots of bark. When it's showtime, whimpering like little shih tzus. You want big cuts. Ron Paul's been screaming it for years. Budget crisis? No problem. Got $1 trillion year one. That's trillion with a T. Department of Education? Gone. Interior, Energy, HUD, Commerce? Gone. Later, bureaucrats. That's how Ron Paul rolls. Want to drain the swamp? Ron Paul. Do it.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
If you believe in this information and want to support its viral spread, go to the INFOWARS store at INFOWARS.com. We've got the new G.I. Joe INFOWARS t-shirts. We've got the incredible Pro Pure gravity-fed filters available at INFOWARS.com in the store. We've got a new DVD, Scientists Under Attack, the Don't Tread on Me flag. We've got all sorts of different bumper stickers to help spread the rebellion virally. It's all there. Wristbands, citizen rule books in every order. Order online at INFOWARS.com today. The water filters, the canteens. It's all there. INFOWARS.com. Thank you for joining us. It's now the interview section of INFOWARS Nightly News, and we're joined by investigative journalist, former NSA officer, Navy veteran, Wayne Madsen. And I like to introduce Wayne this way because I always get a chuckle out of it. Watching C-SPAN, if there's some important national security meeting going on, or even some arcane thing happening, you'll see him in the first or second row scribbling notes. And he has just broken so many stories on this show over the years. He has traveled all over the world, Libya when it's being bombed, and Indonesia investigating the birth certificate. You name it, he does it. And I remember seeing some evidence to this when it happened, the Gifford shooting with the Tucson event. But now he's gotten some really interesting information that integrates into Fast and Furious and why they wanted to kill the judge and Giffords. But the judge was the real target. And the headline is, the CIA cannot survive without its drug running and child trafficking. And if you're a new viewer, it's on record. DynCorp, Halliburton, the CIA have giant white slavery running rings. And people always email me saying, what about black slaves? Folks, white slavery means sex slavery if you're a new viewer or publicly educated like I was, and including children. So there's a real race to the bottom in corruption where even people involved in moderate corruption can't blow the whistle on the worst stuff in the world because they will be compromised as well. So that this is why tyranny tends to accelerate, as we're now seeing here in America with the National Defense Authorization Act, secret arrest of citizens, torture is great, drones, tracking ranchers is wonderful. It's because tyranny is here. And joining us with the inside intel, is Wayne Madsen of WayneMadsenReport.com. Wayne, from the National Press Club, there in their media center. Wayne, break it down, and thank you for sharing this with us.
Well, I have been in touch with a person that I've known for a few years now who has been a confidential informant for both the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Administration. And he contacted me recently to let me know that he was actually in communication, in meetings with Judge Roll and Congresswoman Gifford in 2009 about the tremendous amount of weapons that were going across the Arizona-Mexico border, and specifically in an area that had been under the personal protection of then Governor Janet Napolitano, and that protection for the zone continued after Napolitano became the Homeland Security Secretary under Obama. There were so many weapons available in that zone that he knew about an individual who found a new AK-47 in a wash, and went to the authorities, federal authorities, said, hey, I found this AK-47. They said, there's so many out there, we know, why don't you just keep it? But it's clear that just like we saw under with the Iran-Contra situation, we're back into it. The target this time isn't Nicaragua. The target is Mexico, and it's to destabilize Mexico. So these weapons were going to Los Zetas and the Sinaloa cartel so they can have at each other, you know, chop off a few heads of some journalists, nosy journalists, which they've done, and other people, politicians. I mean, the Interior Minister of Mexico went down in a crash. That's still unexplained. Took out his entire entourage. But we know that Hillary Clinton has said in the past that she foresees the possibility of U.S. troops being deployed to Mexico. And I think this is just how this thing's going to play out. We're going to just inundate the country with weapons. The drugs are coming out of there to feed the coffers of the CIA, just like the drugs. I mean, I remember being in email communication with Gary Webb, who they destroyed his journalistic career because he wrote about the influx of drugs into Los Angeles, courtesy of the Central Intelligence Agency. But nothing has changed. And obviously, Giffords, Judge Roll, and a third person was mentioned to me, a Republican who represents West Texas, specifically the Midland area. Mike Conaway was also interested in investigating this whole operation, and apparently he's so fearful of his life right now, he's not even talking to anybody.
Well, let's expand on that. From my own deep research, everything you're saying fits. We know that Arizona was the main conduit. We know sheriffs in West Texas and New Mexico and Arizona were involved as conduits as well, and many have gone to prison. We know that it wasn't just gun shops allowed to sell the guns, that it was 18-wheelers into Mexico. We know it was a destabilization operation to keep drug prices up, but to also blame the Second Amendment, and CBS has now gotten those emails. But Celly Castile, who is still in federal prison, no criminal record, Vietnam veteran, DEA agent, he came on my show 6 years ago and he said, in Arizona, in New Mexico, in South Texas, they're training Los Zetas who were trained at Fort Benning, Georgia. They tried to hire me, he said. And again, this was when none of this was even happening yet. And I knew he was a credible guy. He worked with Gary Webb, one of his main sources on that Pulitzer Prize, but still it was shocking. He said they're going to elect Calderon. This is a year before. There's going to be a total implosion. There's going to be a giant war, and the CIA's funding the major cartels to kill each other, to jack up prices. Then that'll be used for a North American merger. Now all of this is public. Now, he likes to sell his book at gun shows, Powder Burn. It's out of print now. They kept begging him, sell us a shotgun, just like Randy Weaver. He sells a shotgun to what turns out to be an informant, legally, a private sale, needed some money. He's a school teacher at the time, selling off some of his gun collection. They bust him, sent him to prison, and told him, you should have shut up about this, but he gets out sometime next year. But the issue here is, this is going on. And you look at the whole shooter, what was witnessed by others, clearly it's some kind of hit. And we now know there were investigations from county reports in Arizona by different state officials and federal. So this fits into it. I mean, this is so big now that Fast and Furious has come out that it was a false flag on the domestic front. And your source reaching out to you. I mean, this is big news, Wayne. Give us any other tidbits you can and where you see all of this going.
You know, the source actually met Judge Roll and Congresswoman Giffords in 2009 at a restaurant in North Phoenix. And, you know, the question is, why is a federal judge, the chief judge for the District of Arizona, and a congresswoman, why are they working together? And what I gather is this, as you say, this is such an enormous problem in Arizona and the other border states. Why wouldn't a U.S. judge who obviously was very concerned about what's going on there be working with Giffords, by the way, was a big, and she was carrying on a huge investigation of the drug and weapons smuggling. So that was
And she was a pro-Second Amendment Democrat, something that the Democrats don't like.
That's right. And of course, West Texas, why would a congressman there be interested? From what I was told, that we know about this special zone on the border that Napolitano was
Wayne,
taking
stop
care of.
right there.
There's a whole lot of special forces and CIA people operating. Yeah.
Wayne, stop. I'm going to reconnect. I'm going to try to shut up and have you make all your points. Clearly, the Skype degrades after about 5 minutes. That's why I interrupted when it was cutting out earlier and talked for a long time, thinking it would fix. We're going to reconnect, cut there, and I'm going to come back, try to give you 10 minutes unfettered, and we'll let you go to finish up your whole point. We're going to dial you back right now. Okay, Wayne, your Skype was breaking up a bit as you join us via your iPhone. Love the Star Trek technology. But continue. How big an issue is this? You were getting to the point that Judge Roll was meeting at restaurants with people, clearly showing that he knew people above him were compromised, and he was trying to do investigations himself, kind of like the MF Global thing. Now we're the head of the big commodities group told Congress, hey, I've already gone to the Justice Department. Corzine knows where the money is. You know, actually, he spilt his guts. He had a prepared testimony that he put out